The call into the green abyss. The river was silent. Not quiet, silent. No birds, no insects, not even the chirr of frogs. Just the slow churn of water beneath the hull of the Naiad and the whisper of wind threading through the jungle canopy above. For Dr. Evelyn Kane, the silence was far louder than anything she had expected. She stood at the prow of the boat, her gloved hands resting on the railing, eyes locked on the water ahead. Beneath the murky surface, something ancient stirred. It had taken years to get here. Years of satellite tracking, grant rejections, UN security clearance, and arguing with environmental watchdogs who insisted this part of the Amazon was a no-go zone. Restricted for planetary restoration, they said. No contact sector. But Evelyn wasn't here to cut down trees or lay pipes. She was here for truth. Behind her, the rest of the expedition crew bustled with purpose. Captain Rafe Delgado barked orders while checking the engine's hum. Talia Grant monitored sonar and aerial drone feeds on her tablet. Doc Suggs, ever the philosopher, hummed a tune, some ancient tribal song he claimed was older than maps. The rest of the team, scientists and specialists, moved like professionals. But even so, Evelyn could feel it, the weight pressing down on all of them. The river watched. She reached into her satchel and pulled out a worn leather journal. Her father's. The last entry was dated 32 years ago. They call it Yakamama, the mother of the waters. They say she sleeps coiled under the veins of the jungle. But I've seen the ripples. It's not myth. It's waiting. That was the last anyone heard from Dr. Malcolm Kane. Now, here Evelyn was standing on the same river, chasing a ghost and something much bigger. Dr. Kane, Talia called from the console, brushing sweat off her brow. We're entering the hot zone. Thermals going haywire. And sonar just blinked. Rafe joined them, frowning. Blinking sonar doesn't mean malfunction. It means something big just moved under us. Evelyn's heart pounded. How big? Rafe didn't answer. He just handed her the binoculars and pointed upstream. The river was wide, far wider than it had been an hour ago. The trees leaned away from the banks, roots cracked and sunken. Ahead, the current churned in lazy, circular pulses like something breathing beneath it. Evelyn zoomed in. There, just under the surface, an enormous, ridged shadow, impossible in length. She blinked, and it was gone. I need confirmation, she said, her voice hushed. Talia launched the drone. The screen flickered for a moment, then stabilized. The drone rose above the river, panning across the landscape. Everything was green until it wasn't. A great, curling shape broke the water's surface like a sleeping giant, scales glistening like oil-slick stone. It was coiled, looping through the river like a serpent from a child's nightmare. Talia whispered, "That's not a trick of the light, is it?" No one spoke. The creature didn't attack. It didn't flee. It simply rested in the river's curve, content, aware. Rafe stepped back. I've seen snakes the size of trucks in the Congo, crocs the length of buses in the Nile. But this is biblical. Doc Suggs muttered, not biblical. Primordial. The jungle's immune system. And we just pricked it. Captain, Evelyn said, gripping the railing, we're not turning back. With all due respect, Doctor, we're sitting on top of a goddamn ancient Leviathan. Exactly, she snapped, fire entering her voice. A living creature thought extinct. Possibly the last of its kind. Maybe the first of something new. This is why we came. Talia looked up from her console. The drone's losing signal. Electromagnetic interferences off the charts. The screen cut to static. The river suddenly stilled again. And then a tremor. Subtle, like the pulse of something shifting beneath them. Ripples moved outward in every direction. Evelyn looked up, her voice softer now. We disturbed something, but it hasn't struck. It's watching, studying. That means it's intelligent or territorial. Either way, Rafe said, gripping his sidearm, we're not alone. In the distance, a low rumble echoed through the trees. Deep, resonant, impossible to place. It wasn't thunder. It was deeper than thunder, like something groaning in its sleep. The sun dipped behind the canopy, casting shadows across the water. Fog began to rise. The forest closed in around them. The Naiad drifted forward into the mist. and the Titan stirred. The Titan wakes. Night fell fast in the jungle. One moment, there was green, lush, overgrown, endless, and the next, only shadows, dense fog curling along the water like breath from some ancient throat. The Naiad drifted slowly, its lights cutting thin paths through the mist. Silence pressed in on the crew like water around a sinking ship. Then came the scream. It was sharp, human, and close. One of the deckhands, Juno, had been on the rear platform moments ago, running diagnostics on the rudder motor. Now he was gone. His tether hung limp, soaked in water and blood. Captain Rafe Delgado was the first to move. He reached the aft section in seconds, his boots thudding across the deck. Evelyn followed, heart hammering against her ribs. There was nothing, no ripple, no shadow, no sign of what had taken him. Only the slow, steady churn of the river and the knowing stillness of the trees. "Get eyes in the air," Rafe growled. Talia scrambled to relaunch the drone, hands trembling, trying, but interferences still jamming uplink. EM spike just surged again. "We're blind. Then we go manual," he said. He grabbed the spotlight handle and swept it across the water. The beam illuminated nothing but ripples, and then movement. A massive coil slid beneath the surface, not slithering but rolling, slow and deliberate. Water lifted in waves, as if the river itself were breathing. Evelyn stared, transfixed. "It's not hunting. It's warning us." "You sure?" Rafe snapped. "Because something just ate my crewman." "No," she whispered. "If it wanted us dead, it would have taken the whole boat already." That gave them pause. Doc Suggs joined them, his face pale, voice quiet. Yakamama, the mother of the waters. In myth, she didn't hunt unless provoked. She was protector, judge, and executioner. "We might still be on trial." Evelyn turned, heart still thudding. "If that's true, then we're being tested, not attacked." Rafe shook his head. "That's some dangerous optimism. Document." They regrouped inside the Naiad's control cabin. The atmosphere was tense, claustrophobic. Outside, fog clung to the windows like ash. Talia tapped on her cracked tablet screen. "I got a partial thermal scan before the drone cut out. The creature's body stretches at least 7 miles. That's not a snake. That's a biome." Evelyn's breath caught. A superorganism. Maybe older than civilization. Maybe older than our species. "And it's moving," Talia added. "Slow, sure, but it's circling. Encircling us." The lights flickered. The generator coughed. Another tremor rolled through the deck, stronger this time. Equipment clattered to the floor. On the river, the fog swirled into patterns, concentric ripples from an unseen pulse. As if the Titan's heartbeat had merged with the water itself. Rafe stepped to the helm. "This thing's not just alive. It's intelligent." Doc Suggs muttered, "Or worse. It's aware." A sudden noise split the silence, a deep, guttural groan, like stone grinding under pressure. Everyone froze. The river ahead bulged. Slowly, impossibly, something began to rise. First, the water fell away in a perfect circle. Then a ridge appeared, dark and glistening, followed by a glimmering golden eye the size of a car tire. The creature's head breached the surface in silence. Its tongue flickered once, tasting, calculating. It was beautiful and horrifying, ancient and otherworldly. Evelyn stepped forward, instinct overriding fear. She raised her hands, palms open. "We're not your enemies. We came to understand." The Titan did not move. It watched her, blinked once. A pulse of EM energy surged again, strong enough to make the radio squawk and Talia's equipment die completely. And then it sank beneath the water, vanishing without sound. No splash, no churn, just silence again. For a long time, no one spoke. Then Rafe exhaled. "It let us go. For now," Evelyn said. Doc Suggs looked down at Juno's empty tether. "It took a piece to see how we'd respond. Sacrifice or learning moment." Evelyn's hands trembled, but her voice stayed steady. "I think it's more than that. I think it's choosing. We are the experiment." Outside, the river seemed calm once more. But everyone knew it was only surface deep. Rafe crossed his arms. "We keep moving. Quietly. No more light. No more noise. If it's watching, we stay small. Small, Evelyn echoed, and respectful. As the Naiad slid forward into the mist, Evelyn looked back at the place where the Titans I had stared into her soul. They weren't just exploring the unknown now. They were being judged by it, and they had only just begun to answer. Into the coil. The jungle no longer whispered, it listened. The Naiad floated forward, deeper into the river's unnatural stillness. Dawn tried to break through the canopy above, but the light was thin and gray, choked by mist and shadow. The Titan was gone from sight, but not from presence. It was still here. Evelyn could feel it. They all could. Evelyn stood near the bow, clutching her father's journal. Her fingers traced the frayed leather spine as if it could ground her. The pages inside were water-stained, handwritten, sacred. Her father had gone into this same abyss and never returned. Behind her, the crew had gone quiet, not just out of fear, but reverence. They'd seen the impossible. Now, they moved with the awareness of people who had crossed an invisible boundary, out of science and into something mythic. Captain Rafe Delgado broke the silence. We got something up ahead. No sonar, but look. The mist parted. The river narrowed. Ahead, an immense dark shape coiled through the water like a floating continent. The Titan's body, unmoving, layered upon itself in impossible loops, it stretched across the width of the river and beyond. They had no choice but to pass through it. I don't like this, Talia said from her console. It's not just lying there, it's positioned, blocking escape behind us, cutting off the forward path. It's funneling us, corralling us, Rafe muttered. We're being herded, or invited, Evelyn said quietly. They let us live for a reason. Maybe this is part of the reason. The Naiad slowed as they approached the coils. The scale of the creature was mind-breaking, each curve like a cathedral, rising and falling with slow, living motion. The scales shimmered with hues of green, bronze, and deep black. A low hum, almost like a chant, vibrated through the deck. The sound wasn't from their equipment. It was coming from the Titan. Talia's hands trembled as she rechecked her instruments. Radiation's normal. EM fields spiking again. But I swear, I think it's emitting sound. Low frequency. Maybe even language. Doc Suggs stepped forward, whispering as he stared at the creature. What if it's communicating with a river? With a forest? A biological node in some kind of Earth defense network? Evelyn couldn't look away. A guardian, she murmured. A living failsafe. A mechanism to keep the planet in balance. And we triggered it. Rafe grunted. If this is a warning, it's a damn elaborate one. Suddenly, the Naiad jerked. The starboard side dipped. A wave, slow and heavy, rolled out from one of the submerged coils. Water surged and twisted. The boat rocked violently. Equipment flew. Talia screamed as she slammed into the railing. Rafe grabbed the wheel to stabilize. Hold on, he roared. Another wave. This time it lifted them, and then dropped them hard. It wasn't attacking. It was testing their resilience. Rafe clenched his teeth. We either die trying to back out, or we go through. Evelyn nodded, jaw set. We go through. The boat slid into the narrow channel between two massive coils, shadowed on both sides by the Titan's body. It was like sailing through the ribs of some sleeping god. And then the head emerged. It rose silently beside the Naiad, only meters away. Its golden eye turned, locking onto Evelyn. Its forked tongue flicked once, tasting the air. She held its gaze, heart pounding, breath shallow. She didn't flinch. We're not your enemy, she whispered. The Titan blinked slowly. Behind her, Doc Suggs clutched his chest. Guys! They turned. Blood leaked from his nose. He was pale, sweating. Talia rushed to him. It's his pacemaker, she cried. The electromagnetic pulses. His heart's failing. No, Suggs gasped, shaking his head. Not a pacemaker. Not tech. It's inside my head. I hear it. What? Evelyn leaned in. I hear words, he croaked. Not English. Not speech. More like feeling. It's asking something. Demanding something. His eyes rolled back. He collapsed. Talia screamed. Rafe dropped to help. But Suggs was gone, his body still warm. Silence again. Heavy. Crushed by grief and awe. Evelyn knelt beside him, tears on her cheeks. He heard it. The Titan was communicating. It reached into his mind. Rafe stood and killed him doing it. Or he offered too much of himself to understand. The Titan's head dipped, disappearing again into the river. The coils slowly shifted, opening a path forward. It had let them pass. Not out of mercy, not out of fear, but choice. Evelyn stared at the path ahead. It's watching, judging, but it's giving us a chance. Rafe placed a hand on her shoulder. Let's not waste it. The boat drifted forward, past the coils, into the deeper river. Above them, the sky began to clear. Light pierced through the mist like a benediction. But in the far distance, another ripple rose from the water. Another Titan, waiting. Humanity's choice. The sky was burning, not with fire, but with light. Cold, artificial, and deadly. Evelyn stood on the deck of the Naiad, staring upward as a soft, red glow shimmered in the high clouds. A warning. A satellite lock. Someone, somewhere, had seen the energy readings, the EM pulses, the impossible heat signature of the Titan. And now Earth's cold logic had kicked in. They were calling in an orbital strike. Confirmed, Talia said, voice trembling. Protocol Omega-9. The defense network thinks it's a planetary threat. They're deploying a kinetic rod. 30 minutes. Captain Rafe Delgado punched the control panel in frustration. Idiots. They think brute force can fix what they don't understand. Evelyn didn't move. She was still staring at the ripple ahead, far downriver, where the second Titan had begun to surface. Another great coil. Another mind. A system waking. Doc Suggs was dead. Juno was gone. Half the crew was shaken to their core. But Evelyn's hands were steady now. Her heart no longer raced from fear, but purpose. They'll kill it, she said softly, and trigger the rest. Or miss, Rafe growled, and kill us instead. Talia stepped forward. We need to show them this isn't just an animal. We have the footage, the telemetry, the scans. We have proof of sentience. If we transmit, the EM field's still scrambling outbound signals. Rafe cut in. That thing's pulse jams long-range comms. We're a ghost on the network. Then we stop being a ghost, Evelyn said. We make them see us. She rushed inside and threw open her father's journal. The last page had been blank when she arrived, but now the ink had bled. A water stain shaped like a coil. A single sentence barely legible. If they wake, don't run. Show them who we are. She turned to Talia. You said the EM pulse was a language. A frequency. Can we speak back? Talia blinked. We could piggyback a signal onto their wavelength. Maybe broadcast a neural pattern, raw data, emotion, memory, like a mental upload. But it would have to come from a human brain, one connected to the system. Evelyn nodded. Then use mine. Rafe stepped between them. Absolutely not. It's not a suicide mission, Evelyn said. At least, I don't think it is. It communicated with Suggs. I'll offer myself, my mind. If it accepts, maybe we can reach the defense network through it. And if it doesn't? Rafe asked. Evelyn met his eyes. Then humanity gets what it deserves. Silence. Then Rafe stepped aside. You've got 10 minutes. Evelyn laid down on the scanning table. Talia placed the electrodes gently across her temples, jaw tight with nerves. You're sure about this? She asked. Evelyn smiled softly. This was always my father's mission. He came to meet something ancient. I came to finish the conversation. Talia flipped the switch. Pain lanced through Evelyn's skull, bright, sharp, and endless. And then it was gone. She opened her eyes, but she wasn't aboard the Naiad anymore. She was inside something vast. Not a mind, a world. She stood on a mirrored river, stars above her, and a great shape circling in the depths below. Emotions rose, not her own. Curiosity, memory, grief, anger. The Titan's awareness brushed hers, slow and powerful. It had no words but understood. She scented everything. Images, sounds, screams and cities, war and hope, children laughing. The first step on the moon, the last goodbye at a hospital bed, her father's smile, Earth's fragility, and one sentence. We are not perfect, but we want to learn. The Titan paused, then replied. It was not in words. It was in grace. Evelyn gasped, bolting upright. The lights stopped flickering. The water stilled. Talia looked stunned. The Titan, it absorbed your neural code. It's generating a reply signal. Evelyn, it's relaying a message through the entire EM network. It's overriding the satellite link. High above, the red glow in the sky vanished. Rafe let out a long breath. Strike's been called off. The Titan's great head surfaced again beside the boat, staring straight at Evelyn. And this time it bowed. All around them, the jungle exhaled. Birds cried. Trees swayed. Life returned. And then, slowly, silently, the Titan turned. Its massive coils began to slide back beneath the river, disappearing into the depths. The second Titan followed. They were retreating, but not leaving. Watching. Waiting. That night, Evelyn sat at the bow again, her father's journal in hand, now filled with her own writing. "We came expecting monsters," she whispered. "But they weren't the danger. We were." Rafe sat beside her. "Think the world's ready to believe?" She looked at the stars. "They won't have a choice." The jungle was alive again. The river ran smooth. And the Titans slept once more, not in fear, but in trust.